What is today's date? I would have to know the 22nd. Okay. Good evening. It's April 22nd. This is the advisory committee meeting. First up on the agenda is a review of the advisory committee presentation at town meeting. Okay. So Brad, why don't you walk us through this?
Certainly. All right. So coming out of last week's meeting, on page 2, the decision was to change bullet point 2 after 390 total property tax relief to present of unused tax capacity. The last bullet point, FY 2015 capital purchases of the numbers 1,125,368, and that number came from the front page of the budget worksheet, advisory approved fiscal 2015. Where is it? We talked about this on the
Yeah, I think we
phone.
just went by it, actually. Oh, there it is, okay.
So on page 11 of the budget worksheet dated 4/7/14, articles using available funds, line 277,440, plus free cash 602,928, plus borrowing for fire apparatus 245, add those three, comes out to 1,125,368. So that's the number there. Any questions? On page 3, continued significant events. We went back and forth on the first bullet point, but we decided to keep the wording of less than 100,000. And I did finally get around to updating FY 2015, and I was just so eager to get to 16, I guess. The next slide, the bar graph slide on page 4, there was no edits, so that remained the same. Continuing on to page 5, received the updated slide from Randy, so this represents 14 to 15 with all the new numbers, and so that's now in the presentation. Questions, anyone?
I have a question on the bar graphs, but we can come back to that.
Okay. So continuing
Let
on.
me just read the footnote at the
Yep.
bottom. Okay, that's clear.
Continuing on to page 6, the pie.
Excuse me, going back to the bar chart.
Yep.
On the left side, fiscal year 2014, what's the 1.3%?
Oh, that was the amount that it grew from fiscal year 13.
I would suggest that that's going to be confusing.
Okay. I think you take it out. I would probably agree with that.
You know, I could see the plus 3.2% underneath the right-hand bar graph,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
But the left,
right.
there's no explanation or reference for it, so I just take out the amount is fine, just not the percentage.
Do I have edit rights in that slide? All right, I'll fix it.
No, it's just, this is just a text box. We'll just go in and take it out.
All right.
Yep.
Will do.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, Bob?
No.
All right, page 6, pie chart. There was no edits coming out of last week, so that remained the same. Slide 7, all of the numbers from the meeting with the assessors. So first bullet point, projected FY 15 average property value 446,800. And that was a push from 14, so I just eliminated the increase, decrease, all that
Do
stuff.
we want to just put in parentheses, assumption, dot, unchanged from fiscal year 14, just so people know?
You should at least speak to that,
Yeah,
yes.
just so people know
But
what the
that's-
assumption, that's the major
That's
assumption.
the same, that it's the
Yeah.
same as,
Yeah, if it's all right with you guys, I'll just keep that as a speaking point.
yeah.
Okay. That means no. You can just say no.
Well, it's not that. I mean, it's, you know, it's good to have a minimal on the slide, right?
Yes.
If it's all the same to you, no.
That's a good idea, but I don't want to do it.
I think that's a little strong. I don't believe I said that.
No.
All right, bullet point 2, projected FY property tax rate, 2161 per thousand, which is an increase from 2120, or 1.9% increase.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last bullet point, projected FY15 tax bill, 9,657.05, an increase from 9472.16, or $184.89.
You want to do that into percentages too? I'm just trying to get the math here to see, because I think that's actually lower. It might be a good.
I thought it came out to still at 1.9%.
It should come out to 1.9.
Yeah.
Actually came up to 1.95, I think.
And I rounded it up to 2.
Right, yeah.
So that's why I just did the dollar.
Yeah, it should, because the property tax value is the same, so all the rate pushes to the bill. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, underneath that last bullet point, I think it would be clearer if you reworded that to say increase of $184.89
Yeah.
to a total of $9,472.
No, but I don't think 472 was last year. Isn't that?
I'm sorry,
To the new number,
Yes.
95.
increase, right,
Increase of 184.89 and then it's the sum of 9,472.60
Yeah.
plus 184.89.
So increase of 184
89 to,
from
9472.
yes.
or,
So just-
or you just say to the new number, right? You could do it that way too. 9472.16. I can't do math today. I have to get somebody who has a finance degree. 94.89. I can't do it. I'm a stupid calculator, but you know what I'm talking about, right? 9472.16
Yeah.
plus 184 point.
So I think the
89 is, what is it, 965705?
yes.
Just what's above.
That's what it says right there.
Oh,
It's the same number.
the defense rests.
So I'll just flip the numbers in the parentheses. So I mean, I think the bullet point is the 9657, right?
Right.
It's coming.
Right.
So, Bob, you would prefer that I just flop the transverses numbers?
Yeah.
Is that the deal? All right. Okay. And then we have the updated slide from Bob. And the 12 came in this time.
Yeah.
So, any questions on this?
Yes, what this says is we have the same, we have the same levy capacity in 12 and 14,
Unused, yes.
and that ranked us in the exact same spot.
No. Because the ranking is as of 2014.
Right.
I can only show
So
one
this
year
would
of
be
ranking.
where we would have ranked in today's scale
Yes,
back then.
the most recent scale, yes.
Okay. That's
I mean,
a
there's-
little confusing.
It is, it is a little confusing. I think one point to make when you're speaking to this slide
Mm-hmm.
is that in the past years, our excess capacity always came in after town meeting. And this is the first time we've come into town meeting with excess capacity. Right, and your excess capacity came from higher than expected,
Certified free cash target.
not just the free cash, not the target, it was the higher than forecast new growth
Yeah.
and,
And lower than expected expenses.
unused tax capacity, because that 100,000 that we set aside every year shows up.
All right, so past year's excess capacity has come in after town meeting. This year, as a result of new growth and lower expenses, it's in before.
Well, isn't the point that this is the first year that we've purposely left capacity on the table at this stage of the budget cycle?
Right.
That's really the point.
Right.
And the point of this graph is really that we are making good progress in not only how much levy capacity we leave on the table, but how we compare to other towns that do the same.
Right.
That's really the point.
Because, just by way of explanation, at budget time, we're always over here. And it's only when they finally do the tax calculation in November that we move to the left and get the unused tax capacity. But in past years, we've always presented a budget that brought us all the way over to the right.
Okay. And so this coming November.
This time, so this is the first time we've been anywhere other than all the way to the right at town meeting.
All right, great.
Is the implication then that we could continue to move that way, or?
Every year is different, but the main
We-
point, Bob, is every year at this time, Julie's spreadsheet, the top number on Julie's spreadsheet is the maximum tax revenue that we could get under 2.5 provisions. And in any other cycle but this cycle, we have needed every dollar of that to balance our budget. This is the first time in memory that we don't need every dollar of it to balance the budget today in April. And so we know for sure that in December, when the rate gets set, that the assessors will be able to do something significant with that capacity, or not do anything at all, I should say. In years past, we have needed it today, but found out in 6 months that we didn't need it.
Right.
And we were hopeful that we didn't need it, but we didn't know today, because we needed every dollar to have the budget balance. This year is the first year that we know that we don't need every dollar to have the budget balance, and we can show ourselves with excess capacity today for 15, and we've never been able to say that. Does that make sense? And it could actually, truth be told, guys, that we will probably, Stasha, to your point, move to the left even in the 6-month period between now and December.
Yeah.
This is where this is the worst case scenario.
This is the worst case right now. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We always move to the left. How's that?
If we move
Good
it,
plan.
April and December.
if we move it, we'll move to the left.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not thrilled with the way that this slide looks, but I think it's going to be more powerful to speak to. I know you did your best.
Yeah,
But it's confusing.
It's confusing.
To even if it's confusing to us, it will be confusing to everybody in that room, most everybody in that
Right.
room, and that's why you'll have to do a really good job, Brad, of explaining it. Good luck with that. I know you do a great job.
Throwing down the gauntlet like that.
No,
it's
I
just,
just-
there's not, I mean, there's a motivation factor.
Just
in that.
don't get up there and say, I have no idea what this slide
This
says.
is Bob. This is
I was told I had to put it in.
Yeah.
Bottom
You figure it
line,
out.
you know, here's the deal, guys. Just be happy that we're moving to the left. We're gonna
That's
keep on
right.
moving to the left. So,
If I was talking, I would say, a lot has been said about how our tax rate compares to the other 340 towns in the Commonwealth. This is one such ranking where we can talk about ourselves in the lower quartile of towns that leave levy capacity on the table. So there.
I think you're gonna be talking about it.
Yeah. You writing that down?
You don't have to.
Randy
You
says.
can just watch it again.
Leave the so there part out, though.
Yeah. Just record, go home and record, tape record the TV thing, and then just play it back during the presentation.
Yes. All right. And on slide 9, the summary. We did not have any edits coming out of last week, so that.
Just the-
Oh yeah, the building has been brought to a lowercase b. So that's.
Is this right? We're gonna double the debt declination last, something else must be coming off big, huh? Is this number right?
The school thing? Is it
I gotta go look at that.
Yes, so let me see here. I can seem to find it electronic.
right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't find it on the, I can see it much better on the electronic version. Ah,
Good luck, but you need a magnifying glass, but
yeah, so it's, so
it was the school.
it would take the 2 million, so FY15, so 2064, 374,
Yeah, I don't have the whole- I don't have
66.
the debt service across.
1919020. Let's see.
Because no matter what the math works out to be, it's going to be off slightly because of the new debt we're taking on, the fire truck, right? Even though that debt's gonna be.
Yeah, but that's an issue we face every year.
Right, but I just wonder why we would, then maybe the question is why do we put a forward-looking statement here?
Plus, the
Well,
debt on the fire is gonna be a timing. It's not gonna hit till 16, so this
Right,
is
okay.
true.
And last year there was no due.
But do we
debt.
trust that schedule has been updated for future years? I know it's the debt amortization schedule, it should be right.
Should be right.
Yeah.
Although, for the bands, it's an estimate.
An estimate, because she doesn't know what she's locked in. yet.
Right, but that's gonna vary by $3,000 or $4,000 from what's in there. So it's not a showstopper.
Yeah, the number's right. How's that?
Okay.
But
Chairman,
I'll go back and look at you.
Yes.
I think a pretty good estimate of the fire truck impact on fiscal 16 debt is $37,000.
Yeah, I think that's what we discussed.
But this is for,
This is for
but
fiscal
I
15.
don't think it would hit 16 though.
It would hit 60,
Yeah.
it wouldn't hit 50.
You borrow it.
That's what he's talking about. This 102 is for 16.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and the 37 would hit that.
Okay.
So
Yeah, we said it was between 37 and 40.
a year for each of the next 7 years.
Yes,
Oh,
It
so
would decline slightly because you'd have
that's
less.
principal.
principal.
So it's, with the fire truck, it would be, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. 40 grand would put you right at 60 again, right? So I don't want to get people excited about 100 when we know right now it's 60,
Okay.
right? Or we should be mindful of that.
Yeah, I'd be okay taking that out.
But this, so,
Just the plus estimate.
Just the plus estimated part.
Yeah, leave everything up.
Because we're really going to focus on the fiscal 15 budget anyway.
It's like making promises we can't keep.
Yeah.
Well, we know it's, I mean, we know it's,
Right. No, I had that same question about how
Alright.
the fire truck would affect it. Can I ask my bar graph question?
what's that?
Can I ask my bar graph question?
Sure, yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you as we were going through, but
It's on roll.
I couldn't find a number. I'm sure it's there, but I wanted to make sure. So, and you can look. That matched up from the old chart, but then this number, I had that. These are, I was pulling them from the sheet, and I'm sure it's me missing something, but I couldn't. I just want you to see it visually and make sure, or is this Bob? I don't know.
This is
Oh, no,
mine. That's mine.
Yeah, but all we did was move the slide down, Bob, right? I mean, all those numbers we pulled off of last year, so if
So,
this,
yeah, checks are what I matched up here, and then
Okay.
these changes were the ones that I couldn't figure out where they were matching. So if we go FY, yeah, go ahead, you know it. You know that chart better than I do, but
Bob, do we have with only a month or so left in the fiscal year, don't we have a bead on the 633? To the point where it's, I know 633 and 15 we're not gonna touch, right?
local, so
Right.
Yeah,
FY
hold on.
15.
What was
So here's
633
the
local
actual
receipts?
fiscal
No,
13.
state
That's
revenue.
State revenue.
that number is your local receipts, right? Which would be,
I mean, no one's ever
Sorry,
asked the
that number
question, right? But
taxes.
the question is, why is 14 estimated
So,
when
this is what I
it's
had.
the same as 15? I know the answer.
And 18
But
to
with
25.
9 months under our belt, don't we know whether the 633 was high or low?
And then
I
same
don't-
thing with this one, and same thing with that one. So that was just, I want to make sure, I wasn't sure if there was like a formula in there that was calculating that, or if it was just a plug.
I don't know enough about how that gets paid or when it gets paid and what parts of it are.
No, so Bob, I think, I mean, the 14, namely what Stash is commenting on is if we focus on the 13 bar graph, the 13 taxes on the bar graph has it at 18,057.
But if you're looking at our revenue, this thing's here, it's off.
For 13.
For 13.
And up here, and also for the,
And here we
Taxes and local.
18,057.
we've got 18,225 here.
Right.
That's a school thing, isn't it?
Hold on.
it's probably just gotta be.
18.
This one is the same thing.
This thing works.
What's the number, 18,42 minus what? 18,2 what?
18,225,921 minus 18,057,492.
168,429.
All right, well, that's the allowance for abatement and reserves.
Okay, so you're taking 168,430 off of
Yeah,
that.
because they don't let us spend it.
Okay, so,
Yeah,
and so
we
that's
have-
the same thing for
We
this one
have to
down
raise
here.
it, but then if I included that, then it wouldn't tie off to the other revenue number.
Okay. And then, so back up just for one more second, for the FY 213 tax, no, sorry. Local receipts?
The 940?
Yeah, the 940, and I was looking at 1148757. So this is what I'm looking at, from our budget, our 47
Yeah.
budget.
But you gotta go to do you have the revenue sheet that goes next to that?
I've got the revenue section here, but you're looking for the actual
next-
sheet.
The next
Okay.
page.
No, good, thank
Because
you.
that would have the breakout into local receipts
I do have
versus
that.
state revenue versus everything else. I didn't put mine in the.
Sorry.
Yeah, here it is.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Okay.
Well, yeah, no, but I think you're right. I think I just moved that over, and that was the budget versus the actual.
So that was the actual, the 1148757 is the
Is
actual.
the actual.
So should that?
That should actually be in there. Yeah.
Okay. This one was.
Yeah.
And then those two include the
Yeah. Thanks for catching that.
abatement and extension. Well, that's it. Sorry.
Yeah, that would be high, and that's why that would be the excise tax windfall and all that stuff.
Right.
That'll be much higher than 940.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's 1,148,000, so. Okay.
Yes.
So I will get that
Sorry.
back to you
Yeah,
tomorrow
this is
morning.
clean. There's no-
Thank you for catching that, Stasha.
You bet.
Sorry, Bob, I can fix that. So the 940 on 13
Well,
is
it's
the,
going to change the size of the whole chart.
Yeah,
So if you don't have the spreadsheet, you're not gonna be able to
Okay,
do the whole chart,
all right.
because it's gonna change the relative height. It's not a matter of just changing the number.
It changes the scale.
It changes the scale. So, okay.
But you should have the file anyway for next year.
I have all that stuff set aside, and he will get, I'm thinking of maybe making a CD for everybody on the committee.
It'd be so gracious of you.
I'll take it.
All my
All your notes.
musings, all the spreadsheets that.
Oh, that kind of scares me now.
Your excise tax
Oh, yeah.
formula.
My excess, all the false starts on the excise tax, yeah.
All your free cash from these
Works.
It's gonna be a big purge for you. You must be so excited.
So we're on the last page?
Yeah, we go.
Last,
Yeah,
yeah,
we didn't go through the last page.
so the last page,
Oh, that's right, we took off the 102,000, okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Lindsay.
On page 6, I just want to make sure I understand this. The 62% for education includes Neshoba debt,
Correct.
but does not include the 4% of the total budget that is the Florence Sawyer debt service.
Yes.
Correct.
correct.
So if one wanted a global education thing, it's 66% now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Scary.
Hey Brad, when you're doing this, the reason you have 2 page numbers is because as slides get put in or whatever, like, the only way to fix this is to, if you're familiar with PowerPoint, see how you have, on each slide has 6, 6, 3, 3, 5.
Oh,
The only way to
yeah.
fix that is to go into insert page numbers and like undo it and then do it again, and then it will do it once for all. Or you go into each one of these slides and there'll be 2 different boxes, you can just delete one or whatever.
Does it show up on the on-screen version, or is it
Yeah.
just when it's printed?
Nope, it's on the on-screen version.
All right.
There's 2 ways to fix it. One is to go in manually each slide and delete one of them, or the other is to
All right.
kind of reverse it and then start over. Not that it matters a lot, but I'm looking for professionalism.
No, Bob, I'm doing something wrong on the fiscal year 2014 bar.
Yeah.
Your other one with the abatement, I did the numbers and that worked, but I'm still off for some reason.
On which year?
FY 2014,
Yeah.
on that bar, if I take, oh, you know why I'm up? Because it's starting with the, no, yeah, so 758, 564, which is what's in the top of this.
Yeah.
You see that number? Okay. So and then I'm taking away the 162, 136,
Yeah,
and I'm
not at 18,460?
I'm at 18,596,428.
So am I.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Sorry.
Does 12 work? Does 12 work? Is 12 on that?
Nobody has
No.
12 here, so.
Right, that was just shifted down, but it matches with what was presented
Yeah,
last year.
12 was an actual, so we're gonna go with that was the.
Good.
All right, and I will check the other numbers again.
And would you want to add to the parentheses excludes available funds, free cash borrowing, and allowance for abatement? Just to make it crystal clear for people who are trying to do the math, or is it clear?
It's just
Well,
me.
you know,
No, it's okay. People are doing
you
this.
know, if you put in the phrase allowance for abatement, no one's gonna know what that is.
Okay.
So the question is should we show the revenue number
Gross of abatements.
gross of abatements without the deduction for abatements?
No, because then people think that we have that money to spend and we don't have all, even though it's a small amount, 200 grand, we can't spend it.
Does the public get this sheet?
That's on the website.
That is,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm thinking if they're going as deep as we're all going, they probably wouldn't.
Well,
Oh, but it's being presented as, right, on town floor,
So-
which
so
is
the
not,
question is,
yeah.
if someone, okay, but if
Yeah.
someone sees it there and then goes home to the spreadsheet, they're going to have a problem reconciling no matter which way you go. They're either going to have a problem reconciling for the tax number, or they're going to have a problem reconciling for the total revenue number, right? So which is less of a problem?
I don't think there's any either of them was a problem.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's gonna do the math. And if we do, we
Good.
have an
We'll leave
explanation.
it at that.
Okay.
But that leads to a good point. Do we know for sure the warrant has been mailed? Is the information on the website?
I have sent Don the spreadsheet modified to,
To put there?
yeah, basically I just hid a couple columns of history. I didn't delete them from the spreadsheet, but I hid them just for the idea that someone who's looking at it for the first time,
Yep.
I don't want to overwhelm them with too much history that's not pertinent.
We should just check.
So it's got
the
13, 14, and 15, and Don said he was going to get it up in a few days.
Okay.
It's password protected, so you can open it online, but you can't modify anything. You can't change anything. You can't
Unhide columns?
unhide columns. However, if you save it on your disk drive under a different name, then you can open it up and do whatever you want. You just can't change the online version.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, so
That's all password protection.
Linda sent me an email saying that the 2013 annual report is posted on the website under public documents. And you're talking about the budget.
The budget.
All right.
2013. Okay. Okay, that's the annual report, which is not the warrant, it's the annual report, which is,
What we did in our submissions, they all have.
yeah, we submit that back in January or something like that. December. We're supposed to submit it in December, we submit it in January.
And I sent a follow-up email to Linda to confirm that Don was gonna put that Minuteman.
Yes, I bugged him about that too.
Oh, okay.
I bugged Don about that also. He says he's working on that also.
All right.
So, okay, any other comments about the presentation? Okay.
So,
Yes.
I'll make the edits. I'll wait for your update,
Yep.
and I'll get this to Gary. I think I need to get him a copy by the end of this week.
Okay.
And he said even if it's still in a draft version, at least he has it, so,
He needs a placeholder.
yeah. So I'll,
Okay.
once I finalize everything and get things from you, I'll send it off to him.
All right, is there anything else we should discuss this evening?
No.
All right. I personally don't see the need for a meeting next week. You know, I think when you finish the spreadsheets with these updates, have Linda circulate them to everybody. If anybody's got any questions, let them call you,
Yeah,
all right? And do it one-on-one.
yeah, and then,
The selectmen do have a meeting next week, which I'm planning on attending. It might be, I don't think there'll be any business that requires us to vote, but as it's the last, if they didn't have one last week, and as it'll be the last meeting before town meeting, some interesting things may come up related to town meeting.
so this coming Thursday or
Next
next Thursday?
Next, I think it's May 1st.
Okay. Wow, that's frightening. May
Um,
1st.
Is that the right date?
No, yes, that's right. It is May 1st.
It's a Thursday.
Um,
I may be able to make that.
Yes, next Thursday is May 1st. So the selectmen have a meeting. So I will tell Linda that we're not going to meet on Tuesday, but I will ask her to post us for the Thursday Board of Selectmen's meeting. And again, I don't think there's anything we need to vote on, so if you can't make it, that's fine.
No, I should be able to get it.
And, but we should meet half an hour before town meeting, the way we always do, just in case something does come up.
Yep.
All right?
So that's 6:30?
Yes.
Okay.
On May 5th. May 4th? May 5th?
May 5th.
May 5th. Okay. And then we'll have to have some other meeting in
The end of June.
end of May or, well, there'll probably be some transfers or something like that.
Oh,
Where we
okay.
need to get caught up on minutes and stuff like that. I think
Yeah.
we're only 1 or 2 meetings behind on minutes.
And then we'll have, I remember last year we had to have one right around June 30th or July 1 to.
The first week of July to do the end of the year transfers to cover the snow and ice deficit.
I'm on vacation that week. I know.
Well,
I'm going to Florida or something.
We have 15 days after the end of the fiscal year, don't we?
yeah.
We'll be fine.
Okay.
Um,
I can, anytime not in that week, I can
Okay.
make it work.
And if I'm not mistaken, a quorum at
That's
that
always
time will be a majority of whatever membership we have, correct?
It's gotta be 4. It's gotta be 4.
Good.
So, and I've sent an email to Don about that stuff. He's aware of the scheduling issue.
So that's every year, it's that first week in July is,
Well, no,
it's-
we have 15 days to do it.
Yeah.
It's just usually that's, actually, I can. let me
It's
look at-
nothing that you need to reschedule your vacation.
no, I'm planning on it. But it's good to go next year.
If I give you the impression that I was.
So June 30th is a Monday. So July 1st would be the first Tuesday, and there's no way that these numbers will be ready until at least the 7th. And the 15th is, so the 8th, so the Tuesdays in July are the 1st, the 8th, and the 15th.
Yeah.
So it would be the 8th or the 15th that we,
Got it.
okay? Or that you could meet.
I heard that.
So, that's all right. I'll send a note to Connie telling her there's no meeting next week, urging her to be at the Board of Selectmen and to be at the town meeting half an hour early.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Well, how's your run-through going on this?
Haven't even gone through it yet,
Okay.
but I will.
You gotta keep it well inside of 10 minutes. Okay?
Not a problem.
Okay.
I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna
Call you? Okay.
give you a call and go over it
Okay.
before, ideally, sometime before the 1st of May. And if not, at least one time between that weekend
You
before.
know, you could do it at town meeting, and then we could do it a couple weeks afterwards, if we, if you want to go through it a couple more times.
You feel free to reach out to me too.
Yeah, it's,
You got it. It's not.
yeah, I mean,
Okay. We'll work something out.
I've presented a few times before in my life.
All right, that sounds good. So I have a motion to adjourn?
Sasha had a question.
Oh,
I
I'm sorry.
had a I think I should probably ask it now. Hopefully it's quick. So we're speaking, if we're asked, on certain articles.
Yes.
And I've never really paid attention to what you guys have said. Not like from what vantage or angle, like I know you refer, like that's a planning board question, or that's a, but that's, that came out wrong, but I guess my point is, how much do I say, or, at what point, for example, I have the flood articles, at what point do I say, that's a,
Well, what someone would say is, why did advisory committee feel that it was worth approving this?
okay, for example, the flood articles, I would say, it's something that's already in place, we're just updating maps, it's.
It's a legal requirement that we accept these at town meeting in order for your insurance to be valid and provide you coverage.
Let me, I don't know if this has been said before. In our time, I don't think we've ever been asked what our opinion is on anything other than a disapproval article.
Okay.
Yes, never on an approval, but
But we're always prepared that if someone asks a question, that we're not looking around on who's gonna field it.
Got
That's
it.
why we assign it. If you've gotten articles that have been approved,
Yeah,
I would bet your dollars to Dawn, so you won't have to
Sounds
speak.
good to me.
But if you do,
I think I've got all.
but if you do, if someone says, I'd just love to see why advisory voted to approve this, or look at any instances where we approved something and the selectmen disapproved that same article.
Okay.
Anytime there's a special element, and by special I mean
Not
a
a-
disagreement between us and the selectmen, or a disapproval of something by us, is more to the point where we need to say something.
Oh, good.
You agree with that,
Okay.
Bob?
Yes,
Good.
yes, we don't ever get it.
So like the
asked.
boiler replacement, for example, nobody's gonna ask about that. Should I, is the 8 boilers, do we need to go back to that at all? Did you ever talk to?
Well, actually, I love to call it to him. He and I have been playing telephone tag.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I did call him again today.
And just protocol, if by chance we're wrong and there's a question, there's gonna be 5 people sitting next to you that will have no problem stepping in.
I appreciate it.
I-
I just wanna make sure I've got it right,
So
you
don't
know?
worry, don't even worry.
Pam Powell has asked that we provide her with written copies of whatever our answers are. And I find that for that stuff, there's so much other things I'm thinking about. I just as soon have that all written out, and my little 5-sentence speech about defending the advisory committee vote
On X, Y, and Z.
on X, Y, and Z. And just, if it comes up, I've got it, I don't have to think about it, because it's all there in writing, and I know exactly what I want to say, and I don't have to worry about.
Yes, so I did that with the floodplain,
Yeah.
and I was gonna do that with the boiler, but then I realized I don't have the history on that. The culvert seemed like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Roads are at stake and they need to be, you know, the culverts need to be repaired to maintain the roads. Boom, done. You know, and if they had a specific question, would I refer them to Harold or would, how?
Harold will be
No,
there.
there won't be a specific
Okay.
question directed to advisory. They just want to know why advisory
okay.
voted the way it did.
So that would be my 2 sentence for the culverts, and then for the Emerson boiler, you know.
The schools need heat and hot water.
Yeah,
Well,
but there, I mean, I could see the question being, you know, well, why are we, didn't we already, somebody that's paying attention to town meetings over
Right.
the years, you know, we've got this money,
Right,
Those are for
what,
different boilers.
yes,
okay.
that's one thing. And the other is that, you know, given the change in the price of natural gas and propane, it's natural. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to determine the right heating method for the schools,
Right energy source.
the right energy source for the schools.
Hold on.
With the useful life of 20 years, it's appropriate to explore all avenues of energy sources when spending the town's money.
Yeah,
Something like
and
that.
it's gonna,
That's
right,
really
for something that big too, you wanna do
Yeah.
it right, so,
Yeah,
Especially
because it's gonna be, you know, you may want to mention, when it comes time to replace those boilers, that's gonna be a separate article on the warrant in that year.
yeah, that makes
Big
sense,
one.
because it's a big one.
It's gonna be a big one.
Yeah.
It's not something
So,
that's gonna be
but this
tucked
study-
into the budget.
The 12 grand for
Yeah.
this study isn't it referencing a project that, oh, it is for all 8 boilers,
But
right?
no, it's for the boiler that we already approved funding for.
The money for it, right.
And the new one.
And the new,
And the one in the other school.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. And so that's another thing too, is our
No?
previously allocated money is sort of being held up
That's what I was getting at, yeah.
Yeah.
as a result of this stuff.
But I wouldn't-
Yeah.
I wouldn't bring that up if someone else is asking.
That's what I was wondering, okay. It's kind of like you want to have the whole picture at that point, and if you're presenting that piece of, like, that one little
Yeah.
snippet, they're not getting the whole picture, and you can't really.
My hope, and we don't know this for sure, but my hope would be that someone like Bill Clary would be at town meeting to explain some of these things. That's been,
Has he been in the,
Well,
that's what was kind of my question too,
It's either
is,
George King or Michael Wood.
somebody
would be
from the
in our
school
town.
district will be there.
okay.
Yeah.
So would it, if I was, let's say I was speaking to I was answering what the advisory's view was and then got stuck, would I refer to?
Well, don't get stuck.
Okay,
You're only gonna get stuck if there's a follow-up question.
then-
at which point I
and
would
then-
say, I'm gonna defer that to, if I don't know the answer. If I do, I certainly would feel.
And if one of us knows the answer, we'll just jump in and
Okay.
say.
Or could I look down the table and be like, I defer to my colleagues on that?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, not to pass the buck, but I
No,
don't want
that's
to
fine.
screw it up. Okay,
Bob's got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks for taking one for the team, Bob. All right, thanks, guys, I'm sorry, I didn't have that perspective.
But we're very organized on how the questions will go. The questions will not go anywhere the way you think that they'll go,
Okay,
if there's any at all.
okay.
I think.
Well, and I think, it's hard to, you can do a five-line quickie thing, but then, like you said, it's a very dynamic environment, so you're kind of answering on the fly for a lot.
If somebody gets up and says, "Well, I don't understand why we're paying $12,000 for a study on boilers," it's not your question to answer.
Okay,
Right.
The
that would
select-
be like George or...
Somebody from the school will be there, and the selectman will say, who here from the schools can answer that?
Great.
Yeah. You'd only be at, why did the advisory committee?
So they would, yeah, they'll
Yes.
speak specifically
They
to
would
wanting us to
speak,
answer.
yes.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
It's not our place to defend the article, it's our place to defend our vote.
Got it. Thank you, that helps.
And you're trying to be clear, but at the same time, you don't want to give too much information because
Right,
that can
clouds
be
it.
confusing,
Mhm.
that can cloud it too.
Yeah, no, I
So,
appreciate that.
have the
Succinct.
detail in your back pocket, but
Present the big picture.
present the big picture.
Got it. Thank you.
And lastly on this, since you're in the majority, I presume, on almost every one of the votes that you voted the way that we all voted.
Right.
You just talk about, don't worry about talking about why I voted, talk about why you voted.
Yes, yeah. Well, right, yeah.
Well,
The minority.
I think you want to present the consensus view.
Yeah, but she didn't write down from 3 meetings ago why everyone voted differently. Nobody does
No, but
that.
you can sort of remember what the discussion was and what the, main
Yeah, and
points
I
were.
don't think but I mean,
Even if you don't agree with the main points, you can.
well, that's why I was
remember what
originally
they are.
gonna take the fire station.
Yes.
The fire, because I felt like I could speak to it from, you guys laid out a good argument. I felt like even though I had a different viewpoint, I was comfortable speaking to the consensus of the group's viewpoint, so.
Well, that's just a comfortable position to be in.
Yeah, no, I was all right with that, but yeah, thank you.
Okay?
Cool, thanks.
So we have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. We are done. Good night.
Hey, give me an idea.